How much should you invest in your R&D budget next year? Well, let's find out in today's edition of SaaS Metrics School. Welcome. My name is Ben Murray. So let's talk R&D budget. And at the time of the year that I'm publishing this, your budget should be done or close to done, or just some rough draft of a plan for 2025, because it's so important to have targets that you're shooting for, not just a rolling forecast that changes every month. We need to hold our teams accountable to the performance that we're going for. So your R&D budget is part of the OpEx section of your SaaS P&L, so below gross profit. And one of the things that we measure with our SaaS P&L in that OpEx section is our OpEx profile. So R&D as a percentage of revenue, sales and marketing as a percentage of revenue, G&A as a percentage of revenue. And we have expectations for that spend over time, whether we're 1 million ARR, 50 million ARR, there's expectations, or can I say that? Expectations of how much we should be investing. And this becomes very important as you scale, because eventually we need operating leverage in our business. We can't continue to say spend 60% of revenue in R&D forever, because we're going to need to create cash flow. We need to be positive EBITDA. So this gets to operating leverage. And that's why it's so important to understand how much we're investing below gross profit. So today, talking R&D investments. So one, take a look at your SaaS P&L for the last, say, 3 months or 6 months, add up the numbers, add up your R&D spend off your SaaS P&L, divide that by your trailing 6 months or 3 months of revenue, keep those periods consistent, and that's your OpEx profile for R&D. So is that 10% of revenue, 20, 30, 40%? It's important to understand what that percentage is. And I like to go to Ray Reich at Benchmarkit.ai to get the latest SaaS benchmarks to understand, are we overinvested in R&D, underinvested? Of course, there are a lot of factors at play with the R&D investment profile. Do we have product market fit yet? What does that product roadmap look like? Are we trying to accelerate that and need to hire more developers or contractors? Do we have an issue with retention where now we're focused more on customer retention and in that product roadmap versus, say, acquiring new customers? So again, a lot of factors influencing that R&D budget, but we can benchmark how much you're spending. So let's take a look at some of these numbers so you can have an idea how you compare to your SaaS peers. So the total population per Ray Reich state data, and again, you can get your custom benchmarks at Benchmarkit.ai. So the total population of SaaS companies, so median spenders at 30% of revenue, and this is a little misleading. Top quartile in this case means the lowest spend at 20% of revenue, and the most spend at the bottom quartile at 50%. So you can take that either way. 20% may be good or bad, 50% may be good or bad, but it's important to understand that range. Now, I like to benchmark my SaaS clients by their ARR size. So how much are we spending based on this ARR size, and are we in line with our peers? So if you're in a SaaS company with less than $1 million ARR, median spend on R&D is 40% of revenue. The top spenders are at 69%, which makes sense. We're building our product. We're still trying to find product market fit. Low spenders at 15%. Now, as we move up the scale, 1 to 5 million ARR, median spenders 42%, top spenders still at 69, bottom at 25. And I'll go through one more revenue category here. Of course, there are more in Ray's data. So if you're in a SaaS company, 5 to 20 million, the median spend on R&D is 29%. The low spenders are at 20% and the top spenders at 50%. And generally, I'd say that R&D percent as a percent of revenue at scale, usually we're targeting about 20% or less, and Ray's data kind of shows that. So at scale, you're spending less than 20% or around 20% to have a good OpEx profile and create that operating leverage. So I just wanted to share those benchmarks in today's episode. So as you're thinking about your 2025 plan, should R&D go up? Should we increase that? Of course, the investment in R&D goes up over time on a gross volume basis, but as a percent of revenue, it is expected to come down over time. So hopefully those data points help you. And again, you can check out Ray's data, get your custom benchmarks at Benchmarkit.ai. Thanks.